Hello, I'm Danielle Cumming. I'm Artistic Director of Marlow Guitar International. In an earlier email, we told you about Marlow Connects, our conversation series with past performers in which we check in and find out how they're doing these days. And I'm very excited to introduce the first of those, my phone call with David Russell and his wife Maria in Vigo, Spain. I asked David about how they made it home and what they are doing these days, what life is like in Spain. And David reflects on changes in the concert world and the music industry in general. It's a wonderful conversation. They were very generous with their time. And we've decided to break this up into two parts. So this is part one. Enjoy.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. And you are now at home in Vigo. And so tell me about, how did you get home? Like, where were you when all this happened? And
Well, the last concert that I played, it was in the States. I played in Dallas or Fort Worth, because there were two concerts there. And that was just when the United States decided not to have anybody coming in from Europe. So, of course, we realized that if no planes are coming in, there'll be no planes going out. And so that day, while I was preparing for the concert, Maria found an early morning flight from Dallas to Chicago, and we got on the last flight on Iberia back to Madrid.
oh my goodness.
So we just made it.
Yeah.
If not, we would have had to be repatriated, the way everyone that needed to leave the weeks after. It was much, much more complicated, but we were able to get on a flight.
So
Thanks to Maria, working really hard.
this game, awesome. With the people who followed, were they sending special planes? Like, were the government sending, what was the repatriation process for them?
I'm not sure for the United States, but I mean, certainly for people got stuck in far off places, and it was much more difficult for them to get back. I think getting home from the States was relatively easy because there were still enough flights, enough American people who wanted to say were in Europe and wanted to go home, and so there was enough flights, but it was going to be much more difficult, but we were able to get on that one, which is just a normal scheduled flight, and made it.
Right, wow. Well,
It was really strange because when we got home, we couldn't see the family. We were quarantined for 2 weeks and we couldn't see anybody. So that was really weird to be home and actually feel so isolated that, I mean, we spoke with everybody, but we couldn't see anybody.
wow.
And because we could have carried the virus without knowing. And at that point, it's very easy here to get a test now, but when we came, a month and a half?
No, it's 6 weeks.
A month and a half ago, they were only testing people with symptoms. And of course, we were totally asymptomatic. We had nothing, of course, but anyway.
But it's been lots of fun, actually. In some ways, we are away from home many, many months, and then when we spend time at home, it's usually 5 days between trips and things. And so, although, it still feels like our home, normally to have so many weeks just being here has actually been really nice. So we can't complain at all. I really feel for those people that are in a small apartment, and especially with kids and things, they must be going crazy. Because I've only left the house once, well, apart from going to the garden, but Maria's done all the shopping, and but I don't really, I mean, I miss it. We're looking down at the sea and all of that. Although they'd be lovely to go and have a walk on the beach, but we can't. Here it's quite strict.
The lockdown here is very, very strict. So we can't do exercise. The only thing you can do is go out shopping, go to the bank, go to a pharmacy, and that's it. Or to a gas station, and everything else is forbidden. So it's a total lockdown. It's pure confinement. But we are fine. We are enjoying it.
Yeah, of course. And actually, you know, in some ways, boredom makes for creativity. You know, so only when you start to get bored do you start doing things or want to do something rather than just do work, just the things that you would normally need to do. So it's kind of fun because we're getting to do things that we wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. So, I mean, do you feel, are you, I mean, you must be still practicing all the time. I was going to ask if you were recording things, but then I was going to ask, like, what else are you doing? Are you reading? What are your creative?
Yeah, and we are cooking quite a lot, so we are probably putting on weight, but that's okay. We will lose it when the confinement is over. In the meantime, we are really enjoying. I'm actually baking cakes, which we never did before, and we don't even like sweet things, but for some weird reason, you know, we got into this sweet mood and we are enjoying them.
But I think one of the things is Maria hasn't practiced for years, really. Once in a while, she'll play for a couple of days, then boom, we're off, and she doesn't have a guitar when we travel. And so her playing has become totally secondary in her life. But now she's practicing every day and getting her fingers back.
Loving it,
and so we get to play some duos together.
Yeah, I saw the duo. You're in your garden.
Yeah, that's right.
So we recorded about 5 duos.
Yeah, and we're just preparing pieces so that, and slowly they're getting a little more difficult so that she can, you know, the first ones were easy and now we'll go for more hard ones because she hasn't played really literally for years. So it's good.
But it's lots of fun.
Heard that you were a fabulous guitarist. Everybody knows that, but nobody had the chance to hear it. So, it's so nice. So
one in public in the family is enough.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to more of those duos. That would be nice to hear. So.
Oh, we'll put some more. Right?
And David, are you working on something for like? So what did they tell you about resuming tours, or like what happened?
Well, at first, some places kept the dates, and we didn't want to cancel on them. And I said, well, we'll try and do it if they are able to do it. But now, actually, next week I was supposed to be going to Korea, and you know, originally we all thought, Korea, that's terrible. Actually, today was the first day that they had absolutely no deaths, and so really Korea has, I won't say solved their problem completely, but things are quite normal up to a point there. But they wrote to us just the day before yesterday. To be honest, we felt that we shouldn't go. But the reason why we can't go is because if we go there, we have to be quarantined for 15 days or 2 weeks. So I could go there, wait for 15 days, and then play the concerts. But this is not going to happen. You know, so they obviously they were holding the dates because they thought perhaps it will happen, but in the end, the whole festival is not. It's a chamber music festival. It's not a guitar thing, and they were hoping that perhaps it was going to happen, but in the end, they've decided it's not possible. Not because they can't do it. It's because probably the audience won't go. Yeah. You know, because I think people are still a little bit too nervous there, even though they have no new cases or no new deaths. And in Seoul, in the capital, it's okay. And then the rest of the things over the summer, we had kept the dates. We didn't want to cancel on them, but basically they've all cancelled. Mm-hmm. Some because they have to, some, like you said, because the venue itself has decided they can't do it. And others just decide, of course, that the audience are not going to go. So why, you know, we can't do it. You know, it's just, so we think that possibly this year we'll be doing no work. You know, until
the fall. And yeah,
we'll see the fall if, you know, we'll see. But that's okay. We'll find other things to do.
Yeah, it's sort of like we're looking forward to hearing what people like yourselves are going to do, because it's kind of like you can record at home. Do you have sort of a home studio?
It's not really, it's good enough for Facebook and these sort of things, but it's not good enough for good quality. So we can't travel, but I have a place, a friend who has a studio, but it's more than an hour by car from here. We're simply not allowed to do that. You know,
not now. But
not now, but maybe in a couple of weeks, if that opens up, that would be one of the things. I think many of us will probably want to do that. We'll make some recordings. I mean, the whole CD era is probably over. You know, but there'll be other forms that people will be able to give out their music or sell it or whatever. So who knows? You know, I remember when I started recording, it was LP time. And I caught the very tail end of that and made a few LPs. But by then, LPs were no longer being sold and CDs just basically swamped. And so then the idea was have a CD, not an LP. Well, nowadays, something's going to happen, some new way. Nobody's going to want CDs anymore. I mean, mostly, even cars don't even have a CD player in them anymore, you know. And many houses, they have it streamed on internet or whatever. So there'll be another form. But I think in some ways, just to ramble on about this subject, in some ways it may actually be good for live concerts because people, they're going to get so much music or streamed music. So now you can just get, I mean, you go on YouTube, you see everybody and their dog is playing on, you know, it's, which is fine, but the live concert is going to become, I think, more important. I hope.
Really special, yeah, to see something.
More special, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.